Cheesy Potato is actually like hovering at 9th place, like just outside of top 8. That was at Earth, at Air, and at ROCS 3, 2, and 1 was at 9th place. So like here, Cheesy Potato really making a big break into top 8 at the very end of the year. Really great.
The path into top 8 was going to be another 9th setup too, because if she had lost to Zara by seeding assumption, would have had to immediately play Kick Assault to try to make top 8, or no, would have played Kick Assault in top 8. So maybe a 9th or a 7th position there. So it's another tough one that she managed to grit out. I mean, there's nothing more to be said. A win against Zara is a huge notch in your belt. And another one of the people that she beat along the way, we're actually going to see here now in Seggo, was we see Seggo and Kusi face off once again, starting on Julesville. I feel like this is just the one people I'm most comfortable on.
So a reminder,
Death Factor battle. Let's go.
Yeah, a reminder that the Water Major Grand Finals was between these two players, and Seggo did win that. He won it with Eliana. Which, as we saw earlier, can be a bit of a challenging matchup for Ellie. It's going to be starting Shovel Knight, though, so we'll see whether or not he'll bring out the Eliana as the set develops, just to try to rekindle what happened last month, or what have you.
It's kind of interesting to think about, too, about whether how soon he goes to Ellie, because one of the benefits of having it in the water one is that you don't have a lot of matchup experience against Ellie, and except in this case, where Kusi just got done fighting Halide. So do you want to go back to that all of a sudden, where he's already warmed up against a character that you don't normally play against? Like, there's some strategery going on right now for one Mr. Seggo.
Seggo now having his turn to keep Kusi off stage. Oh, important parry on that up air, but Kusi's gonna live that.
Great ledge dash. Just the jab check.
I think Kusi was expecting a parry there, because he just dashed up and did nothing.
Oh,
beautiful cat.
There it is. It's gonna find home eventually.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing and a curse to have like multiple characters that you can use in like a top 8 at this level as Seggo, because if you do lose the game 1, then all of a sudden it's like you have so many options that it's just like really hard to make a decision on what to do for game 2.
The stress after the bracket too, where you're like, maybe I should have gone this character for this player, right?
Right.
Interesting choice there to go for the momentum, the momentum armor as Kusi was back on the stage. So we know how quick Ori can get across the screen. Ends up not taking too much damage and getting the stock, but a risky call.
I think he just part of it is having that extra bit of mobility to keep up, and then just that extra bit of weight. I think is what he's been prioritizing in his earlier sets as Shovel Knight.
Opts for the Hunter Horn here, much like he did against Jezier earlier in his run. So interesting to see him switch away from the Ghost Gauntlets.
I think part of that just has to do with the radius that the horn covers there, right? Can actually cause a lot of trouble for Ori's recovery. Especially since Ori's also so light, too.
Right. And I mean, Kusi, no fear there, waiting out the up strong charge. That is some lag after that hunting horn. He's got to be very careful with that.
Just forward smashes? Okay, it works. He's still got a whole nother Ori to kill, though.
Hey man, Wi-Fi Shovel Knight tactics are a thing.
Oh, this combo.
That was a nice sequence, a nice 30%, but oh, really? Okay.
Really, that move is so fast.
Oh, were you forward jogging? My bad. Here, let me just jab you real fast. That's it. Can't get parried, man. Get you every time.
That's going to put Kusi up for the first game against Seggo. So then that question returns, is Seggo going to stick with Shovel Knight? He is.
Yeah, he is. And going to go straight back to the same stage, too. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. We saw Seggo kind of cheat death a few times. We saw those jabs in between the F-Strongs. From Kusi, we'll see how he kind of adjusts here in game 2.
Yeah, this is a matchup that I can honestly say, even though Shovel Knight came out in 2018, I know very little about this one.
Dan, I'm actually right there with you. Yeah, I think this might be the first time I've ever commentated the guest character matchup.
My general rule of thumb for SK is like how well can you keep this character from camping, and how quickly can you get up in his face and cause him trouble? Because I think Shovel Knight as a character is very well designed, but can also sometimes struggle to like kind of get those initial hits off. Now Seggo with a huge start here, but like the way that Ori can kind of kite his way around the screen and cause Shovel Knight a lot of problems from a lot of different angles could prove difficult. And the fact that he could challenge the anchor like that without committing to it is a huge benefit as well.
I also got to think with the way Shovel Knight plays offstage, like if Ori gets in a position where he has to, use up special, then Shovel Knight is gonna make you pay, because that's like not a quick recovery tool.
Good wait. Oh, doesn't get the down air punish on that. This is a huge game for him.
Wow! Just enough time to grab himself the mail.
And something we actually saw against Jezir as well is that you can actually see Seggo sometimes opt to try to drop the treasure chest at the ledge as Ori's recovering as well. Something to just kind of keep an eye out for as Ori, up B's back and uses wall jump. So I'll be interested to see if Kusi may fall victim to that.
Yeah, it's cool seeing Shovel Knight's using the hitbox in different ways for it now. Yeah, Seggo's still on his first stock, finally.
Yeah, you see him try to SDI through those jabs, and Kuzi was just like, nah, I'm gonna have smash now. You held in, thanks for that, bud.
Kuzi's like, enough with this stock. Kuzi's movement is so good. Like, it's one thing when, like, Ori in general, like, the character has really good movement, but then when you combine it with, like, a player who's, like, able to kind of mix up all the different options, like, it's so hard to even, like, just hit Kusi in neutral.
Alright, there's the gloves. Finally has the money for it.
Forrest Strong's forced off stage, but Kusi goes for a low recovery, sneaks back on. Teamwork up strong.
I actually thought that was going to KO too.
I was holding my breath for it.
So, I mean, I like the fact that Kusi actually was ready just in case it didn't. He didn't get the final hit up in the corner, but, like, he had a plan already in place, which is the big thing.
Yeah, that's something you see, like, top players are much more aware of than, like, me. I watch, with the down strong takes it.
Yeah. I mean, we saw at the end of the previous game, too, right? It just takes one parry, and then the smash attack ends up closing the deal. This time the other way around, Seggo evening it up 1-1 apiece.
And whereas game 1 was super close, game 2 was firmly not. Seggo in full control, almost with a 3-stock at one point, before Kusi finally closed it out with the jab F strong combo. Really great stuff, and a momentum killer for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll see what happens. Game 3, Ethereal Gates. Huge blast zones here, so I'm curious if Kusi's just trying to extend his own lifespan here. Because like we know the momentum mail is definitely coming for Shovel Knight, so he's going to become pretty heavy himself.
Yeah. It's part of what we saw in that upstrung there, where we were both like, oh, is this going to kill? Seggo already had momentum mail at that point.
Well, and the other big thing is, like, you're going to watch how Kusi can actually use drop zone up air, almost like Burning Hideout. This stage is obviously going to be a little bit higher, but still is going to be able to kind of start that runway traction for him.
Gets the parry and then the sign right afterwards, just to make sure you can catch it wherever the end of that side special was.
Oh no.
Wow.
Already had the grenade lined up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to, like, the sports analogy, it's, in hockey, it's really similar where, gets the KO. People, like, watch their pass, and, like, the good players are always, you don't watch your own pass, you, like, go follow the play, and that's kind of what we see in Rivals. It's like the top players, they already have their next thing in mind. They're not going to, like, watch to see if the KO happens like we do.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, if just in case this doesn't hit, I'm going to be ready.
Right, and that's honestly like how Eliana's whole like punish game works, right? Like she's following you up into the blast zone, and like each of those could kill once she's getting close, but she already has the next one ready.
Oh man, Kusi's looking so good.
Like Kusi's turned this around.
Yeah,
a 3-stock lead with a 3-stock lead, or a 2-stock lead rather.
This game looking like the exact opposite of last game.
I mean, Seggo just trying to find a hitbox here. There it is. The down strong finally going to do it.
Going pretty low there to Fish.
Did he just... It was a nice light grenade toss, that's all.
I mean, that's how important the momentum mail is in this matchup. You see him willingly take a hit in neutral just so he can get the armor on.
Yeah, if that actually turns out to be like one of the main reasons this big lead happened, that's actually crazy. To think one item makes that big of a difference in the matchup.
And it was crazy because that upstrong almost killed it 72 post hit. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Kusi went flying into the upper blast zone.
Oh, just barely shy there. We're going to catch the second one.
It's the next one, yeah. Just too much damage.
That was a big thing from Game 2 into Game 3 is that, for the most part, Seggo was just a hair above almost every upstrong that Kusi threw out in Game 2 and then just kept finding it over and over and over again in Game 3. So great stuff there from Kusi. Finally, we do see a character switch, but not to Ellie, but to the online Crag now and onto Spirit Tree as well. So I'm very interested to see how this goes.
If my knowledge of Seggo's Crag was his original main. And then as time has gone on, Seggo's other characters have grown in power to the point of like matching his Crag. So going with Old Familiar, you know, when your back's up against the wall, losers bracket, finals, everything is on the line, feeling comfortable with what your character can do, sometimes it just makes the most difference.
Interesting start to the game here.
Gonna go to Spirit Tree as the stage was seeing what both these players can do with their punish games. It's going to be Kusi who gets the first opportunity, waits for the parry, sets up another string of up airs, doesn't go for any kills, just wants some damage and more stage control.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of this stage for Seggo. Obviously, there's some reasoning behind it, but I think the way that Ori carries off the side of these platforms so well, I think this could be a really big problem for him.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of thinking the same thing. He's still alive though.
That was gross. Honestly, that was gross. But there's those side platform boosts. I mean, it's just such a great stage for Ori and how she combos off stage as well. Like, it's really great stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I know also in this matchup that like Crag kind of has to favor recovering high because there's like a nasty tech trap that happens with Wall Pillar where Ori can cover like your tech timing and catch your invincibility too.
Right.
And it makes it a total nightmare for Crag.
Yeah, but even if you look at how like Seggo's approaching neutral, like it just doesn't seem comfortable. Like it's always DJ into like falling aerial or DJ air dodge into falling aerial, and it just doesn't seem comfortable. Whereas like Kusi literally just gets to sit on the ground and Shark and patrol underneath. It's really tough for him so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's another one.
And it kind of comes back to Ori being that whiff punish master. Like Crag does have some moves with bigger range than what Ori has, but like if you whiff with those moves, like Ori swooping in, getting solid damage, yeah.
That could have been so much grosser if he hadn't teched in place too. Like, I really think Kusi had a plan to kill off of that parry.
Ooh, there we go. Seggo able to close out that first stock finally.
At 66%.
I mean, that's the benefit of going here is that that move that Upstrong did kill at like 100 after hit on Spirit Tree, but now you're going to see this happen, and it's just going to be really tough. Yeah,
that's the Wall Pillar, how tough it is for Crag to be down there, not going to get the tech. The Galaxy will seal it out. Kusi moves on 3-1 over Seggo. Going to advance to loser semis. And Seggo still with a very good performance here at the finals. The performance at Water Major, not forgotten at all. And not a fluke, considering how well Seggo was playing today.
So what do you guys think about the fact that we never saw the Ellie come out, though?
I think part of it might be because, Highlight was over in Winners and people were playing Ellie. And then also with Seggo, like, he's playing so many characters, like, it really depends on who's warmed up and which characters he thinks are playing well to influence his choices.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. I think also, perhaps a factor is also, like, Kusi, we know him as one of the heaviest grinders of this whole year. Like, his skyrocket in skill has been breathtaking, considering at the very beginning of 2020, right? He was just more like a pretty good Crag, and then suddenly makes the switch to Ori, starts grinding really hard, and is like always in that top 4, top 3 area in the end of brackets. So knowing that your opponent is somebody who grinds that hard, they lose to a character a month ago, they're definitely going to put in some work studying what went wrong, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't think you can count on being able to recreate that success as well as it was previously. So all those factors combined, it does make sense as you think about it.
And also, just going back to that match, like if we go to just traditional matchups, like I know like players at this level are way more important than characters, but like Ori is going to have a pretty good time against kind of all of Seggo's character options. Like Ori's like playing against Crag, the big body that we know on Eliana. Shovel Knight, like I said, I'm not too familiar with the matchup, but just seeing like the movement that Ori was able to have before Seggo got Momentum Mail, yeah, it really seemed like Seggo he needed one of his characters to just be playing really well, and then Kusi was able to come on top though.
Now, before we get into this winter semis, I want to break this down for you guys real quick. Let's really think about this for a second. You have Penguin and Halite here in winners finals, and then Kusi and Cake in losers finals. I am very interested to see how Halite does in this matchup, how Penguin responds to it. We've talked about a little bit how, Ellie popped up at the water major, and we haven't really seen too many players face a lot of Ellies, but here we have a chance to see Penguin in winners finals versus a Halite. Penguin pretty familiar to this